Welcome to the Redvee TV instant fan reaction supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2021 season as we reflect on Saints' 24-0 victory over the Castleford Tigers this evening in a statement on social media. Kevin, we haven't won a game like this before.
No, it's a strange one, isn't it? Very strange. Waiting, obviously, to go over and watch the game and start hearing a couple of rumours on social media. Then all of a sudden, we've won 24-0. And that's it. Done and dusted, move on to the next one.
It won't be the first time that we've played Cass and fans have only found out the results much later after the performance.
Yeah, I haven't seen the performance. I haven't been in a fit state to see the performance. That's very true.
Does the 24-0 result flatter us? Probably not defensively, but in attack, given how we've been in recent weeks.
Listen, it's an improvement on last time out, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's not whinge about it. As I say, it's like trying to get your head around it, isn't it? That's it. It's done. Move on. Not going to try and fit this one in. And I know the reasons behind it. We'll cover them in a minute. But yeah, because it's been a weird world for so long. I didn't think we'd get to the point where we are discussing a game that hasn't happened, but we've been given the win for.
Yeah. There is a strange set of circumstances, apparently, which we will come to in a minute. Is it the worst thing in the world that could have happened to us? Obviously, the game last week against Hull KR was called off. We've got a couple of bodies that got battered a little bit in the All-Stars game. A couple of players returned with injuries and weren't named in the squad for Wednesday's game. And then obviously we would have had a really short turnaround ahead of Wigan on Sunday. So with Wigan potentially playing on Wednesday against Warrington, if that goes ahead, does that put us in a good position going into that tie? Obviously to go in a little bit fresher, or will we be a little bit undercooked?
Yeah, I think there's arguments both ways. I'd probably have preferred to have played it than not, because we've had a couple of games now that haven't gone ahead, and it might be kind of doing us, as you say, a little underdone going into games. But it then reduces you've got to say, chances of probability someone will get injured now after I'm saying this, but you've not got 80 minutes of a chance of someone getting injured. Saying this on the back of Johnny Lomax getting injured in England training, let alone actually in a game. Listen, I'd have rather have played it. I'd have rather have got the minutes under the belt, given somebody like the likes of Lewis Dodd, who was going to get a run out. Christian Wolf had alluded to it. Yeah, exactly. But that's it. And you think then the knock-on effect of that Lewis Dodd plays, Aaron Smith or Josh Eaves comes onto the bench and gives them a chance of shining. You imagine it'd be Aaron Smith. You think he's the next cab off the rank. It might have been a game that we rested one or two. Alex Walmsley might not have made it, which means Dan Norman gets minutes. So I don't know. I don't know if there are more positives than negatives or more negatives than positives. I think it's one of them that it's just frustrating, really.
Is the season becoming a little bit of a farce? That's 3 Saints games now cancelled. Obviously, it is circumstance, but how many games do we need to play to actually make the end of the season playoffs? And do you get disadvantaged if all the games were cancelled because of the opposition and not yourself?
It's tough, isn't it? It's tough because, listen,
it is what it is in terms of COVID.
Yeah.
Listen, there's nothing we can do about it in this society we live in, but it just seems you could end up being disadvantaged. Yeah.
That's all it is. It's frustration because nobody's going out there to get COVID. Nobody's going out there to get injured. No one's going out there to miss games, or we don't think they are anyway. It's not something I'd definitely not level at Castleford here. I think they've just got a very, very unusual set of circumstances that they would have played, but a lot of their academy lads are a singer or a close contact to a single positive COVID test. It's tough. It's
the statement that has been released is obviously an unusual range of circumstances. They've got a number of young players unavailable with first team experience due to contact with a single close contact. and separately, the academy squad are all in isolation. But they haven't got 7 senior players unavailable as a direct result of positive tests, just injuries where they're missing out. So that's why the 24-0 scoreline has come into it. Yeah, Castleford, hopefully they can field the team next Tuesday. Is there a little bit of a concern now around Wembley in terms of there's going to be a lot of people worrying? Do we play on Sunday against Wigan, and then, do you know what, play me and you against Wakefield, and have everybody else isolating in a bubble out the way, so they're not going to be in contact with any opposition players? Or because Wembley comes first at this moment in time, Wembley comes first, and we've got to ensure that we have a full squad available.
It does, but I think you've just got to go along normally. You've got to go along as normal as you can. So we play Sunday against Wigan. We then go over to Wakefield. Now, whether you then rest a couple with bumps and bruises against Wakefield, anyway, just say, right, here's you're in the bubble now. See you later. Not interested in seeing you, Lachlan Coote. Not interested in seeing you, Johnny Lomax. Not interested in seeing you, James Roby, Morgan Knowles, Alex Swans, whoever. You're all in a bubble now. I've picked 5 or 6 of you. Not interested in seeing you. You stay in that bubble and make sure you're okay.
I'd have camp beds in the stadium. Actually, night note, I'd rent hotel rooms. They should have a fan-funded fund. Put them all in nice little hotel rooms. Don't let them out. Drop the food at the door. Bit like a prison, but they stay COVID-free. But do you know what I mean? For some of these players, obviously, some are going to retire at the end of the year, go back to Australia. They will be absolutely devastated if they were forced to miss Wembley due to any sort of positive COVID cases. So I think the club and the players included will be doing all that they can to ensure that we stay as fit and healthy as possible.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure they're going to go down your Guantanamo Bay option there. But
no, we were feeding them, and they'd have a menu to choose from.
Brilliant. No, I think that'll be a bit much. Listen, there's got to be concerns though about Wembley, because it's coming up thick and fast. If Castleford just get a little bit of an outbreak that doesn't quite clear, then all of a sudden you do get to the point that, I mean, we could end up being the ones who have a bit of an outbreak that doesn't quite clear in time.
Have we had a genuine answer on what would happen if one of the teams couldn't play at Wembley?
Oh, I don't know.
Is the 1895 Cup final first?
Yeah.
Winner stays on.
Yeah, why not?
Or the team who gets there, whether it's Castle or Saints, do they play a combined York and Fev team? Is it York and Fev?
Yeah, York and Fev, yeah.
A combined York and Fev team for the Cup. 13 against 26.
Well, yeah, it sounds like the combined nations all over again.
But yeah, do you know what? I know we're having a little bit of a joke, but it's really concerning, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and that's it. And you hope that everyone is. You hope that literally is just contacts and nobody actually has tested positive. You hope that that's all it is, and the injuries clear themselves up, and Cass can kind of look after themselves, because that's it. We're having a little bit of light-hearted discussion here, forceful about it, but yeah, when all said and done, it is serious, and you've got to start, as you say, you've got to start thinking, let's hope that Wembley can still go ahead. Let's hope that this doesn't manifest itself into something bigger, or something that just keeps rumbling on, and we get towards Wembley, and we're still struggling over whether squads are being announced, whether we're going to be able to go down there and play, because that's it. Everybody wants the showpieces to go ahead and them to be entertaining. Last thing we want is Cass having to throw out 8 or 9 youngsters in a cup final, a couple of the older heads, and saying to have a full team. Well, I say that if we win the Challenge Cup, couldn't care less. But it's the last thing you want for a spectacle for the sport. If you look at it as kind of overarching thing. The last thing you want is what happened in the cup final. It finished 83-0 because Cass's young lads all ran out of steam on about 50 minutes and Saints just carried on walking through. So the last thing the sport needs.
Bit harsh kicking the drop goal at 82-0 up though.
Paul Sculthorpe did it when we won 75-0. He popped over a drop goal. Was it just before half time?
Yeah, but that was all right against Wigan. I'll be honest, I'm not particularly going to miss going over to Cass on a Wednesday night school night. There is that positive. Not going to lie. It's a school night. I'd rather be at home, tucked up in bed, nice and early for work. But yeah, there we go.
Such a studious worker. Your bosses are so lucky to have you.
Thanks, Kev. Right then, Kev. Man of the match.
Tommy Makinson. Rolls in nicely to his new deal that he's signed.
Yes, 2024. We better mention it.
Yeah,
really good to get him on board. Obviously, there's a few players out of contract at the end of next season. Regan, Grace, Morgan Knowles are the other two that come to mind. Hopefully, we'll get a couple of them. Maybe, I think Regan will probably see out next year to see what happens, but hopefully Morgan Knowles will be next in line. Yeah,
fingers crossed. That's it. It's great that Tommy's signed on an extended deal. He's going to be one of them that's spoken about, especially when his career's over, as one of the great Saints wingers, I think. And people might turn around and say he's not as prolific as the likes of, say, Tom Van Vollenhoven. He might not be as quick as even, say, the likes of Anthony Sullivan, but you look at his all-round game and what, as a modern winger, as a modern-day winger, what he brings to that team, and he's definitely should be up there in the chats about one of the best wingers ever to pull on a Saints shirt. And that's it. You kind of hope that, as Christian Wolf alluded to when he was interviewed for Saints TV, we're keeping a nucleus of a team together. So we have still got those superstars like Johnny Lomax and Tommy Makinson signing new deals, and we supplement them with either the best youngsters or the best imports. And hopefully we can just keep doing that and stay at the right end of the table.
Right, just before we go, some of the instant fan reaction from the fans on our Facebook page where we were celebrating the Saints win. Linda Parnell says it's a great win, lads, and that's a 3-word summary of the game. Nick Ashall thought we were clinical. Defence was outstanding, but he thought Cass lacked a bit of attack. Clifton Pennington thought Super League's getting a little bit boring. John Fenney hasn't seen the game, wondered who scored the tries. Oh, you've missed some crackers there, John. John Moss, no longer refereeing, but he bets McShane still got the 3 Man of Steel points.
Very good.
Connor Bostock thought Regan and Tommy were absolutely unplayable, and what a win. And Jeff Kilgallen has shouted at me to get a grip. I have asked him what of, and he's not replied.
Very tough.
I don't know if there's any on Twitter. Have we had any on Twitter?
There are on Twitter. Do you want me to read the Twitter ones?
You do the Twitter ones.
Saddened, bodes well that we won 24-0 with Dodd in the halves. Gives me more confidence for next season. Now let's keep the faith for this season first. It's a secret, MUFC Saints. I'm surprised that the ref hasn't found a way to keep them in it. Dora Star, do we still have to play against the ref? There's an ongoing thing here, isn't there? David Cogan, only 4 tries, 1 up rugby again, Wolf out. Saint Adi, 1266. Who won man of the match?
Tommy Mack.
Tommy Makinson, we've just told you. Paddy O'Brien, I can't speak. And Daniel Lyon, who scored? Well, you'll have to have a look at the highlights. The
highlights are on Saints TV behind the paywall. You have to sign up for a day with the money you've saved on the ticket.
Yeah.
John Malloy for the record called the ruck speed as well.
Yes, very good. Yeah, that's it. Listen, we're having a bit of a laugh and a joke. Oh, there's another one. Dodd in attack made the difference. Norman looked solid in his first starting class. Hat-trick from Wellesby. Just gets better and better. That's from Philip Casey. Yeah, listen, we're having a bit of a laugh and a joke. In all seriousness, we do hope that there's nothing sinister in that, in what's happened over at Cass. But if we can't do an instant fan reaction after we win 24-0, when can we do them?
How many nils is that we've had this season? How's that the third one of the year?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know if the league table has the league table been updated? No, still not been updated. We've that's our third nil-in of the season, and we've only played 10 games.
Good effort.
We're averaging 7.6 points per game conceded. It's got to be some sort of record.
Yeah. The other thing that I will mention, looking ahead, we've got Wigan on Sunday. Christian Wolf has said that Mark Percival will be and Johnny Lomax will be fit for Wigan. Seen that, I think it was Mike Critch who's put it out there, and he's saying that Matty Lees needs time if he's going to be considered for Wembley. So I think that's it. After last time when we dropped about 5 players in who weren't match fit, I don't mind dropping one in as somebody with the aggression of Matt Lees, but it's a tough ask, especially if you get a warm day at Wembley. It's a tough ask for him to come back in his first game be there.
And last of all, Kev, before we go, I think I must ask the burning question that is in everybody's minds. How do you get your shirt so white?
Well, I do all my own washing, so it's a family secret.
It's impressive.
It's just a washing machine, to be fair.
That's where I'm going wrong. Still using that mangle.
Just reading as well while we're here, Matt Wilson on Twitter has said it's disappointing when any Super League game gets called off, whatever the reason. I think it needs to be made clear what attempts were made to get loan players in, which is a good point. And also, I think the punishment for failing to fulfil a fixture for non-COVID reasons need to be increased in due course. That's a tough one. But that's it. Have they attempted to get anybody in? Could they get anybody in? It's tough, but there's plenty of differing opinions over on Twitter. So have a little look through. It's quite fun to read, to be fair.
And we're still waiting for the World Cup to be announced that it's not going to go ahead as well.
Listen,
it's inevitable.
Yeah, I can't see it going ahead. And if it gets put off, we've got to be clever with it and with kickoff times and stuff like that, so it doesn't clash with the Football World Cup, which is happening later in the year. So we've got to make sure that we don't clash with that as much as we can. But then it makes the England game that went ahead completely meaningless. And I know, listen, I'm an advocate of the international game. I was a volunteer at the 2013 World Cup. I do like the international game. I think that's the way that you grow the sport. I'm still not convinced the Combined Nations All-Stars team is the way to do that. I think you've got to make sure that France, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and the likes are all built up a little bit more. But I just think breaking bubbles when you people say the contact within games, but you break bubbles in to bring a friendly together like that. I'm just wondering how wise that is. I really am wondering how wise that is, especially with teams losing players left, right, and centre as well. We've lost Johnny Lomax to an injury in the training. John Bateman's got injured during the game, hasn't he? So you've got to wonder. And listen, I'd have a 2-week window in the middle of the season for international games. I really, really would. And there's no Super League at all, and you literally break the season into 2 and have international in the middle of it. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Combined Nations team.
just before we go, Castleford have put a statement out saying, we will be looking to publish further details regarding supporters' tickets to this fixture in the coming days. The one word missing from that statement was the word refund.
Yeah.
And given what happened with, was it Toronto? When fans didn't get what they were promised back from that game, when it was moved to Warrington, push for a refund, Saints fans, I think. And we're not going back there this season. And that's Wembley money, isn't it? We can't. I'd normally say under normal circumstances to maybe potentially leave the money with Cass and get a ticket for the fixture next season, but tough times for everybody at the moment financially. People haven't got the money in the pockets just to be handed over to opposition clubs, I don't think. Fair comments?
I've nothing really, because I'm looking at a tweet from Mike96 Hughes, who said, hope we make it 5 years in a row next season. 26-0, 4-0, 10-0, 24-0, and that's your lot.
The stats. Anything to add, Kev?
No.
Right, let's get back over the 62 before it shuts for the evening. Catch you soon.
See you later.